right? We've been given this divine cure, a direct gift from God, described as the ultimate spiritual remedy. And yet, for so many of us, it can feel like it's just not working. The anxiety is still there, the weird things keep happening, and you're left wondering what's wrong. So it seems like the problem might not actually be with the medicine, but maybe in how we're using it. And let's be clear, the prescription itself is absolutely perfect. We're talking about the last two chapters of the Quran, Al-Falaq and An-Nas. Now, these aren't just any two chapters. They hold a really special place as the definitive, ultimate cure for the evils of sorcery. And they were revealed directly to the Prophet Muhammad himself.
I mean, just listen to how the Prophet described them. He called them two shining pearls from beneath the throne. That's not just some poetic flourish, you know? That language is meant to hit you with the immense value and the pure, heavenly origin of this cure. It's telling us this is no ordinary protection. This is straight from the source.
So, how did this ultimate cure actually come to us? Well, it wasn't just sent down randomly out of the blue. It actually came after a really profound and honestly a difficult teaching moment. A lesson that wasn't just for the Prophet, but was designed for every single one of us for all time. To make sure this lesson was crystal clear, God actually allowed the Prophet to feel the effects of sorcery. Now, this wasn't a sign of weakness on his part or some failure of his protection, not at all. You can almost think of it like a divine crime show. God demonstrated the crime, what sorcery feels like, how it works, so that he could then reveal the perfect, unbreakable way to defeat it. And this slide really breaks down that whole divine process. So, step one, the intention was set. This was going to be a lesson for all of humanity. Step two, the Prophet directly experiences the symptoms. Then, step three, the diagnosis. The effects were clearly identified, things like obsessive thoughts, deep anxiety, what we might even call neurosis. And it was only after the problem was fully understood that we get to step four, the definitive, perfect cure is finally sent down. Okay, so this brings us right to the heart of the matter. If the cure is perfect, if it's divinely revealed, then why on earth does it sometimes feel like it's failing? Well, the answer has absolutely nothing to do with the words themselves. It has everything to do with the condition of the heart reciting them. And this is the gut check question we all have to ask ourselves, right? We're reciting these words, say, I seek refuge in the Lord of the daybreak, and say, I seek refuge in the Lord of mankind. But if deep down our trust in that Lord is shaky, if it's wavering, how can we possibly expect his words to have their full power when they come from our lips? The difference is literally night and day. On one side, you've got recitation without real deep belief. It just becomes empty words, a formulaic ritual. And guess what? It's totally ineffective. But on the other side, when that same recitation is fueled by an unshakable belief, those exact same words become a channel for divine power. They turn into the true cure, a completely unbreakable shield. So here's the bottom line. For God's words to truly work, your own conviction in God himself has to be absolute. Think of it like this. The verses are the sword, but your faith is the arm that wields it. And without a strong arm, even the sharpest sword in the world is, well, it's useless. And this leads us to the big spiritual mistake that really hollows out our faith. It's the grave error of misplacing divine power, of accidentally giving God's own attributes to his creation, to other people. So how does that even happen? Well, it happens when we start to believe, even a little bit, that a magician can somehow control our money or our job. It happens when we give God's unique powers, power over life, death, success, failure, to other human beings. When we just forget the true source of every single outcome, and because we're so scared, we make God a secondary factor. He becomes our plan B, after we've already given all the power to the magician in our own minds. And you know, there's a very real, very direct spiritual consequence for this. The source material is clear. Whoever turns away from remembering the most merciful, a devil is assigned to them as a close companion. And this companion's job? To constantly whisper doubts, to amplify your fears, and to make you feel even more alone and helpless. But here's the good news. Just like the problem is internal, so is the solution. The answer isn't about finding some more complicated ritual or a more powerful spell. It's about returning to a much simpler and way more powerful state of being. The ultimate antidote is found in two things: remembrance and mercy. I mean, just let this sink in. This is a statement directly from God in the Quran. He's basically asking, why would I ever want to punish you if you're grateful and you believe in me? This completely flips the whole script. It shows us a God who isn't looking for excuses to punish. He's actively looking for reasons to show mercy. That door is wide open.
So you see, the real antidote isn't some kind of counterspell. It's a state of being. It's the constant remembrance of God. Because when your heart is full of Him, it's at peace. And when a heart is at peace, all those whispers from devils and all those fears of sorcery, they have no fertile ground to plant themselves in. They just can't grow.
And just think about this timeline of God's mercy. Ages ago, God heard the call of Prophet Yunus from inside the triple darkness of the fish's belly, the deep sea, and the black of night. He still heard him. Go back even further to Prophet Adam. When he made his mistake, he didn't even know how to ask for forgiveness, so God himself taught him the words to say. So now, fast forward to you, right here, right now. If God himself gave you the perfect words for protection in Al-Falaq and An-Nas, do you really truly think he won't accept them from you when you say them with all your heart? We have to remember who it is we are calling on. He is Al-Latif, the subtle one, whose help and grace can reach you in ways you could never even imagine. And he is Al-Khabir, the all-aware, who knows your pain before you even speak it. If someone were to call out to him from the deepest, seventh layer of the earth, he would hear it. Your heart is not that far away. So at the end of the day, it all comes down to this one question. When you recite these chapters, what are you actually doing? Are you just using a formula, hoping it works like some magic spell? Or are you actively, with every single fiber of your being, seeking refuge with the Lord of the daybreak, the King of mankind, with God himself? Because the answer to that question changes absolutely everything.